Welcome to the world's first straight talk Solarcast. This is your go-to podcast for answers about solar. Brought to you by Solar Harmonics in Northern California, who invite their customers to own their energy by purchasing a solar panel system for their home, business, or farm. Each episode, we discuss questions facing people making the decision to go solar. The solutions to your questions are given to you straight by one of the leading experts in the solar industry, Jamie Duran, president of Solar Harmonics. Feel free to search our library for answers to questions that you're facing when considering solar. And now, here's Adam Duran, our host with the questions, and Jamie Duran, our solar expert with Straight Talk Solarcast.
Hello, Jamie.
Hello, Adam.
How's everything in the land of solar this week?
Oh, it's always exciting, always something going on. And, you know, your favorite time of year, Halloween, where we go and kind of go through the solar horror stories of all these poor people that have solar. And it's just, oh my God, it was heartbreaking sometimes to hear what they're going through and how they need help and no one helping and no one can help and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure you remember, you know, the A-Team and Wise Guy and and for all the people, you know, back in the 80s who are
Stingray,
yeah, and then the Equalizer, your new favorite.
That's a little different now.
A little different, but same kind of thing. Is that
be forewarned?
Oh my gosh, we definitely make a series on all the things, trials and tribulations that people go through. If they, you know, I have one customer tell me he's going through the same kind of issues that I've been talking about. We've done 5 commercial solar projects for him, and he has one little residential system down in Southern California. He did not go with us, through us for that. And ouch, he said, holy moly, selecting the solar company is more important than the actual solar equipment. Or he said he's just, you know, this is a guy who's worth quite a lot of money and he's spending days trying to get his system. It's been installed, just hasn't been approved for 2 years. It's just, wow.
What?
I know. It's just sitting there and, you know, battery and everything. So he paid a ton of money for it and it's just sitting there. It's ouch. Not my favorite. Now the systems we've done, all great. He's super excited, loves us, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, which is great. So the people out there, he's like, wow, you know, he was really, when his first few systems that he did with a different company, he said he was really hammering them on the price. And then a couple of years later, they're not around anymore. And so, but with us, he's, you know, we gave him a nice price, nice system, and it's working really well, and he's saving tons of money, and very, very happy with it. So that's kind of bad news, sad news, good news, and more good news. Okay. But today, I kind of wanted to follow that theme a little bit in that it's we've talked a little bit about solar and rentals and how California has no chance of meeting the renewable energy goals that it has set unless the rental market, you know, like if you own a house and you rent it out to other people or even an apartment complex or anything else, how in the world does it make financial sense to go solar? And because believe it or not, landlords not so excited about the amount of CO2 that the solar panel system will save. They are definitely looking at, well, why in the world would I want to install solar on my rental when I don't pay the PG&E bill or the electricity bill? What do you think, Adam?
That's a great question.
Okay.
Well, I mean, think about it from their point of view. I mean,
Sure.
If it's an investment property, you know, why would I want to be putting money in every month to an electric bill? And I don't live there, right?
Could not agree more. And I'm glad that's a good perspective with that attitude. No, I'm just kidding.
But I'm sure after this podcast, I'm going to have a different opinion.
I'm just planting the seed. And so let's just say, Adam, you have a rental house and the customer or your tenant. Oh, and I was just going to say, and the tenant, they don't want to put up solar themselves because number one, they need approval from the landlord. And number two, what if they move? You know, they can't really take the solar with them. And now the landlord has free solar. And no one likes that. But in any event, so let's just say you have a rental house and you're just collecting $1,000 a month for rent. And and that's cash flow positive. Say, let's just say $150. So you're making about 15% each month, which is pretty good. And then the tenant, let's just say they're paying $250 to the electric company. Let's just call it PG&E. So right now they're writing one check to you and one check to PG&E. And so if you were to put up solar, you would be able to, let's just say there's plenty of room and you can offset $200 of that solar or their electricity costs. And so now, rather than them paying $250 PG&E, you can actually have them write you a check for $200 where you're providing the solar power. And then instead of collecting $1,000 rent, now you're collecting $1,200 rent. So far, so good?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then because you're the building owner, and this is not tax advice, everybody, check with your tax professional, but let's just say you do qualify for the 30% tax credit. And because it's a commercial property and you went with Solar Harmonics, you did a system that had more than 41% domestic content for that system. You can really go with anyone. Just tell them you want to meet that minimum. Now you're up to a 40% federal tax credit, and you get the depreciation expense. And again, check with your tax professional. There's lots of loopholes and rules, and we don't want to get everyone in trouble, but this is how it's supposed to work. And now, essentially, if the system, let's just say, for argument's sake, costs $10,000, and now between depreciation expense, state and federal, and then the 40% tax credit, about 65% of the system is returned back to you in the form of tax incentives. And so,
wow,
yeah, nothing wrong with that. And so, in general, what that's doing, and again, some more maze caveats on this is that let's just say it's under 15 kilowatts, which it is, and that would be about 25 large solar panels. But we're just talking rental house, so it would not qualify for the prevailing wage. And now the customer has a solar panel system that's saving them $200 to $250 a month, and now instead of just writing two checks, now they're writing, well, one large check to you and a smaller check to PG&E. But now, you're saving them money by putting up solar. And if the system pays for itself in 2 to 3 years, then all of a sudden, now every month that $200, remember in the first example, we were at $150 profit just from the rent. And now if the system is paid off and they're paying you $200, what is your monthly profit?
$1,300.
$350 a month.
Oh my God! Sorry, I thought everything was paid off. If there's going to be a math quiz, you got to give us a warning here, Jamie. Jeez, come on, I'm barely awake.
Okay. In any event, so it's so now you've more than doubled your profit each month. $350. So because before you were at $150, and so now in the world of commercial real estate, there is something called a cap rate. And that it's called a market cap rate, where meaning that if your property is, let's just say it's a 4, that just means the commercial property is valued at the cash flow divided by this cap rate. And so now, that $350 a month is a nice savings. But what really makes solar a super no-brainer, aside from the tax benefits, is that because now you're not paying taxes on the income that your property is making, at least for a little while. But now the cap rate says now if your property was making $150, let's just say it's worth $100,000. Now, if you were to triple that cash flow, what do you think happens to the investment?
It gets a little more attractive.
A lot more attractive, exactly. So now you've just made your rental property a lot more attractive, and it increases the value, and it increases the value from the first day. So it's a pretty interesting. Certainly, people who are in the house flipping business, I don't know why they're not putting solar up and then leaving a 25-year lease on it, if that was what they would like to do. Because then, if you're flipping the house, then you could still have this solar cash flow from every single one of your flips. going forward. And so it's pretty exciting.
Hmm.
Anyway, so those,
Interesting.
yeah, we could talk about that more on a future episode, but just the kind of real estate and solar. Once the real estate industry really figures out solar, which I still have not met one that has, it's really a game changer, and that's how solar can help make the state meet its renewable energy needs. But it's going to take a lot of education, because just like you said at the beginning, I don't pay this electricity bill. What do I care? Well, it makes also a better tenant if they were to go to any other place. They're going to be spending $250 to $300 a month on electricity. And so they're also not so excited about that part, but they're very excited about their home that, where they're living. A lot of renters live hand to mouth. Mm-hmm. That makes a big difference. And adding $50 a month, that's $600 a year to their net income, essentially. So because it's tax-free, because it's reducing an expense. Anyway, mm-hmm. It's kind of a win all the way around. And so all we need is some interest rates to go down a little bit, but and then where it'll make super sense. But right now, even if somebody were to buy the solar outright and have a break-even time in PG&E territory and in using domestic equipment, it could really make a lot of sense. And so I'm a big proponent, and I think it certainly worth investigating if you do have a rental or several rentals, or even a apartment building that has carports or a flat roof, or anywhere that we can put solar panels. It definitely makes sense to even look at. So,
question?
Yes, sir.
All right. Say I have a single property and I want to do this, but I'm worried that my renter will be like, okay, I got solar up there. I'm just going to run the AC 24/7,
sure,
all that stuff. So would you recommend that we would still say, okay, you have a cap of, and then anything over that you have to pay? Like, how would a landlord structure that?
So it would be in the beginning that, because there's some legal stuff to it too. The tenant has to sign a lease amendment to do that, or if you're starting a new tenant. But basically, it would just say, here's how much solar we're putting in, and it's going to produce this many kilowatt hours. Now, if you use more than that, you get to pay that, and that's going to show up on their PG&E bill. So it's
okay.
Yeah, so we're just providing the solar benefit, and we're saying it's going to, because it's peak time of the day and all that stuff, it will offset 80-90%. But if they go get a Tesla Model 3, we have a new customer with the new GM Hummer EV, so I'm excited to see how much. I think we're going to need a solar farm for that. But in any event, so if they're using way more power, they pay the difference, and then the next month they will be cutting way back, because nobody wants to pay an $800 electricity bill when they have solar. So, but it happens. So.
Okay, interesting. All right, great.
Yep.
All right, we're going to wrap it up there.
Perfect.
All right. If you have a question for Jamie for an upcoming episode, you know what to do. Go to our Facebook page, Straight Talk Solarcast. Send us a message through there. If you have a friend or real estate agent friend, this would be an amazing podcast to recommend to them, because it will save them and educate them all about solar and all the pitfalls, so they can avoid them and hence save themselves tons of money in the process. If you would be so kind as to give us a 5-star review on wherever you heard this podcast, we'd also greatly appreciate that. Until next time, everyone, see you.
That's all for now. Thank you for listening to this episode of Straight Talk Solarcast with solar expert Jamie Duran. Join us each week for more answers to your solar questions. Speaking of questions, got some? Email us at solarcast@solarharmonics.com, and we'll be sure to give you an answer in an upcoming episode. This episode of Straight Talk Solarcast is brought to you by Solar Harmonics, the leading solar energy developer in Northern California, who invite you to own your energy. Visit them on the web at www.solarharmonics.com.